damage to any enemy standing on top of it.
Welcome back to the Heroes Global Championship. We are playing Ducks and Tricked Esport, watching them as they face off. We're getting ready for game number 2, but right now Tricked Esport is up 1-0.
Yes, they are, and I am happy to see them actually take that first win here. Really not underestimate their opponents, and actually show a strong front line with some slight inabilities from playing Ducks to actually land the full combos that they wanted to do. This series, though, I think is still going to be close, though. I could see it going all 5 games.
Yeah, we can definitely see the playing Ducks warm up. We've seen them on point before. Just game number 1 just wasn't working out for them. But let's get ready for game number 2. What battleground are we going to? Let's find out here now. Kalara says Tuma Spider Queen have been manned out, as well as Sky Temple. We just finished up on Infernal Shrines. Now, what does the playing Ducks decide? Ooh, they actually choose the battleground, and we're going to Brax's Holdout.
Okay, so this is interesting for 2 reasons. One, they chose the battleground. Yes!
Yes! We're getting some Zerg. Let's go.
Yeah, but also, this is the first time we've seen Brax's Holdout for HGC Europe.
Yeah, I believe it. We've seen it in North America, but for Europe, yes. Yep, brand new here. So if you're European and you've only been watching these broadcasts, welcome to Brax's Holdout. I hope you're ready for 6 pulls and lots of Zerglings on the field. It's a lot of fun here. So, yes, this is actually a bit of a variety. I kind of like it here from the Playful Ducks, just because I feel like as a unit, they naturally just start running as 4. And now from the very get-go, they can here on Brax's Holdout to start out with 4 in that bottom lane and then put 1 on the top lane, and then from there they can just do what they do best, which is make calls and engage.
It's a map that has its very own flavor and its own nuances. There's certain things here that can work on this map that don't necessarily work elsewhere at all. Rexar is something that's really quite strong. Medivh, even with long-range portals, can be very powerful at 13 compared to the cooldown reduction. But anyway, into the draft. Let's see what's going to happen.
So the Gul'dan ban will be the first pick here for playing Ducks. Or for Tricked Esport. Ariel and Gul'dan are devilish to play against on this battleground, that bottom lane. They clear lanes like crazy. They have hope built up. It's almost impossible to kill them as Gul'dan just gets that free damage in. So I actually like that ban here for Tricked Esport. Now the playing Ducks have to decide what they want to get rid of, as they'll have to deal with the possibility of Ragnaros or Dahaka being grabbed here soon here for Tricked Esport.
Will the Tassadar disappear? I think it's next week, right? We move over to the new patch here for HGC Europe.
Yep, for you at home, we are on the Zul'jin patch.
Yes, that is correct.
So next week we get Valera, we get extra Zagara damage, we get all this fun stuff that might get mixed into the European scene, as there are a lot of changes occurring.
So Brax's Holdout, wave clear is still actually something that's very important. Tassadar is actually very good, I feel, on this map, not only for vision with Oracle, but also even Storm can, if you're in a bit of a bad spot in terms of the shrines, can be strong. But Ragnaros is also powerful. Not a surprise. Best hero in the game. You may have just noticed Ragnaros being focal point there during the break.
Yeah, it's something to note is that Lava Wave could be taken.
True.
So we'll see how it goes. Tassadar has to be picked up for the playing Ducks here. They have ran in the past. It's one of their bread and butter combos. They can go their Vala route. They can go their Tracer route.
If they do that, though, then I would say Spot Billy wouldn't be on Medivh.
Yeah.
Unless they wanted to run a very, very strange Tassadar Medivh combo, which is not heard of.
You have to be absolutely god tier in your shields, right? They gotta be on point. It would be difficult. Could be ran. I feel like playing Ducks just naturally love that Vala slash Tassadar pick.
Yeah, so maybe Tricked Esports is kind of calling their opponent's bluff. You know, they didn't pick it themselves. They would rather prioritize the warrior. They're saying, if you take Tassadar with Vala potentially, as you say, we're happier to deal with that than we are the potential of a strong Medivh play on this map. Maybe that could be a thing. I mean, maybe Spot Billy doesn't even really like it on this map, but it will be Vala Malfurion.
Wow, they deviate from the plan here. So playing Ducks, yes, Malfurion and Vala will be the choice for them. Tricked Esport now with their 2nd and 3rd slot. It's so weird to me to see Tassadar make it this far. It's happened now twice in the HGC. One with the ADRD.
In Europe,
I'm going to pinch you with Tassadar draft, which was absolutely phenomenal to watch.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Does Tricked Esports move down that route instead? They pick up Dahaka.
I like that.
Do you go Tassadar here? You would still have the chance to maneuver into Illidan slash Vala. Others, I think with Jaina,
false in the Zeratul pick ban again.
Tricked Esport just gets rid of Tassadar. I don't think they're going to pick it at all. with Jaina, ETC, and Dahaka, they're saying, all right, if you take Tassadar, we'll be ready.
Delaying, because, yeah, I think the Tassadar ban has to come in for Tricked Esport later on, but delaying it to the second rotation is a big power play from Tricked Esport. To say that we are first pick, we're going to have 3 before you have 2. If you go Valor Tassadar in that first rotation, then we have complete free reign.
Yeah.
At least playing Ducks has Malfurion, but now it kind of says to playing, you know, what I was saying of Tricked Esport kind of calling the bluff of playing Ducks means that if playing Ducks wanted to, they can still go down that Medivh path and still have those shield potentials. There might be a Zarya ban, like if they don't even mind against Tassadar, but we'll see. There's the Zeratul that we're expecting, because obviously Jaina and Zeratul are really, really best buds.
Yep, so they're the Tassadar ban.
Okay.
But I think I like your track of thinking here for playing Ducks getting the Zarya. Zarya can be powerful in this battleground, especially around the shrines. The expulsion zone is just wide enough to where if someone oversteps their bounds trying to grab a beacon, you can drop down the expulsion zone and suddenly you have easy isolation. You have roots as well.
They get caught.
They get caught very easy here. So playing Ducks could be thinking about that. We've also seen Sport Billy run it in the past. So instead of that false dad, that Medivh, all that stuff that we've seen here, suddenly we have that Zarya that he's just as strong as, which means Tricked Esport, they'll be in a good spot if Zarya gets taken here, as they have their engage already with ETC. One of the best things you can do against Zarya is go for the hard engage.
I think she's a great second warrior here for them, considering what they're going up against, and it will be Muradin and Zarya. So not only do you have the shields for the Valor, but also you have to have, I think, a double warrior composition and against an ETC and Dahaka. She is the absolute best pick here, I think, for them, along with the Muradin.
Okay, well, over to Tricked Esport. They're going to go with their tried and true Rhaegar. They just love to have that hero, especially when they have their double warriors. Tychus will be the final pick for Tricked Esport, so their composition is looking mighty beefy and relatively strong and slightly orcish. On their side, playing Ducks here, Vola, Malfurion, Muradin, and Zarya. What are we thinking here for our final? Do we need a top laner? Muradin can do okay. Zarya can do okay in the top lane.
What damage is it? What is our damage choice? I'm
gonna sound crazy, but I would love an Alarak here. I don't know if they have somebody that can pick it up. Yeah, I've been running more and more in Alarak, and he just owns that top lane so well. The problem is like you might as well just go Thrall, because Thrall has better poke and better engage.
My mind was navigating towards Thrall.
Yeah.
It depends really what they want to deal with the Dahaka. Dahaka's, I mean, even with the position that he's in right now, he's such a good solo laner, and then he just reinforces so well as well. We've got to understand that right now Tricked Esport has I feel that they have the beacon pressure because they have Dahaka, whereas playing Ducks, they don't really.
They could also go for the last second Neoric. Oh my gosh, they go for Artanis. So triple warrior lineup here, with Zarya being the pseudo support with Malfurion and Vala. So Artanis is now in the mix here. So I'm going to be honest, I feel like Artanis has a hard time against ETC and Dahaka, and to a degree, Jaina as well. If you don't get the pick-off that you want to go in for, and Jaina gets that chill on you, you're going to have a bad day trying to escape from the fight and also getting your engages.
I think we mentioned, we said in the previous game that, you know, Johanna Condemn can be really strong into Artanis or whatever.
Yeah.
ETC's power slide is much stronger into Artanis, being able to just kind of stop him in his tracks whenever he actually goes for one of those pushes. If you're quick on your reaction times with that ETC, I'm a little bit skeptical.
Yeah, it's not even the power slide, too. It's also the knockback. Like, he has two major tools that stops our chance from doing anything. You blade dash in and go for a swap, and ETC's able to get in there. He just knocks you into your team. He says, okay, well, now we body block you. However, this can work out. If there is a solid engage, and the call out from Vala here, Chris has to be explosive on that Vala, and they murder whoever he swaps.
Could.
He should do well on the top lane, actually. He does pretty solid against Dahaka. Dahaka is better for pushing, so Dahaka brings that primal aggression, pushes the top lane. Artanis has a hard time clearing that out. But straight brawling, Artanis can hold his own against Dahaka, especially if he dodges the tongue.
I just think the draft as a whole was very interesting because that's kind of the weird dynamic you get into when Tassadar is not banned out in the first phase.
Yeah.
So you get these little more, I want to say, unique comps for Europe compared to what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
And then the order of things gets a bit crazy. Like Tychus' last pick is like, okay, then cool. We just want all of our warriors, and then Tychus comes in towards the end.
Those bruisers, man, so powerful here in Europe. We're ready for game number 2. The Playing Ducks taking on Tricked Esport. Currently, Tricked Esport is up 1-0, and we're going to Brax's Holdout.
All right, to the left-hand side, currently 1 game up here in HGC Europe. It is Tricked Esport with Nappy going to be playing on Rhaegar. We will have Alex the Pro G on Dahaka. Ethernal, calm down. Crosby going to be on Jaina. And then we will have Ethernal on ETC, Get Back to Home. And then Remaballer finally on Tychus.
To the far right, the Playing Ducks. In the red, Wolf Joe will show off the Malfurion, probably one of his best supports that he plays. Chris Explosion here on Muradin. Sport Billy showing off the Zarya. And we're going to have Chris the Legend playing Vala. Last but not least, Nande. Show me some Artanis plays, man. My favorite hero here. I want you to land those Phase Prisms, and I want you to slash people into pieces with your side blades.
I think, as a solo warrior, what do you think about Artanis into Dahaka, out of curiosity?
I like the matchup. I was explaining earlier. I think as a bruiser, Artanis can be quite a pain, especially after he gets that shield surge at level 4. He can just kind of just brawl forever, and he really can hold those beacons down. However, Dahaka is better for pushing with that primal aggression. So if Dahaka holds the push and he just focuses on regen globes, he destroys that lane, 100%. However, if there's a mistake ever, a Phase Prism goes off, and we have Artanis gets the engage that he wants to, he can burn down Dahaka. It's just the longer time goes, and if Dahaka doesn't die, Dahaka starts to run away with that lane.
And it's interesting actually seeing how Playing Ducks are orchestrating this, having Sport Billy up there to start things off. It means they're going to have very little power in this bottom lane. I mean, Malfurion, Muradin, and Valor are actually not a bad trio. They're pretty good at holding their own because Muradin does live forever, especially with the wind at level 1 being taken. So you take damage, you jump out, and then you get back in there pretty swiftly. So it's cool to see this little change up from Playing Ducks to hold that off, but I have to agree with what you said, which I feel you hit the nail on the head, is that level 4 Shield Surge is like, that changes the 1v1 matchup quite a lot between the two. But obviously this is a bit crazier than that.
That was a layered attack there on the Artanis, just mainly to break down Artanis. The Blade Dash was used to dodge the Power Slide, which is the correct play from Nande. But that means there's a direct point of where Artanis is coming back for Dahaka to hit the EV Tongue. Granted, they didn't get the kill, but you see already Tricked Esports is setting themselves up for the future here to be able to handle that Artanis that can be so slippery sometimes.
All right, so Demolitions Expert for Zarya, beginning to just lob those grenades all over the place. I do like the more grenade-focused builds nowadays. You know, I bring it up in HGC North America. We had Caterpillar on Tomb of the Spider Queen being a pest with that. And I think it can have a lot of traction here, especially when waves come along. And also the poke potential.
I just love so much how the lane phase is being handled for both teams right now. The triple warrior being Playing Ducks just teams up so much. Remember though, is in trouble, getting auto attacked to death. The Chris Explosion will jump on him with a dwarf and help secure that kill as well. And now the beacon grabbed here in the bottom right. 12% already into the favor of Tricked Esport. But you see Jaina has actually rotated the top lane, which is kind of odd usually on the battle lane.
Yeah.
We just have here for Fear Wave Clear. There's another tongue from Alex and Pro G. This swap though on Crosby, and we have Chris Explosion.
Can he catch it?
Hunting down Jaina, the Stormbolt, there's the attack, and now Playing Ducks. Rotating and killing.
I feel that Tricked Esport have played into Playing Ducks' hands quite a bit, or feathers, I'm not quite sure. The thing is that it was 1 versus 2 up towards the top. I think you leave Dahaka up there, you lose that lane in terms of the beacon for a while, and you just have your 4 versus 3 at bottom.
Agreed.
And power that out. Like, you hold the beacon and try and get as much damage done to towers as possible. I think that could have been stronger. I mean, I'm not a pro, so I don't 100% know, but watching how this played out, Playing Ducks has really gained a lot of momentum from that position and got themselves a full wave.
I think I agree with you. They could have had this 2-3 rotation. The problem is they didn't know how to handle it. They sent their ETC and their Dahaka and their Jaina to the top lane, which means that Rhaegar and Tychus just had a bad time in the bottom lane. They don't have the best wave clear. Rhaegar can be okay, but he has to get into melee range for Ball to pelt him down. So it took too long to figure out their lanes, and they're getting punished for it heavily here. As the Playing Ducks, with their 3 warrior lineup here, have a massive push occurring down here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, this is a strong start here from Playing Ducks. And of course, they did choose to come to this battleground, foregoing the idea of first pick. So it's nice to see that they have some mastery over it, which is very, very clear here. They've got themselves a good composition, or at least they believe so. Now they've done damage. So 1 level ahead at the moment. These Guardians, unfortunately for them, won't get much more done. But enough. Taking down that wall, and most importantly, taking down the fountain, the well to heal up there is really important because now they're going to have even better control over that bottom beacon.
What I also like with this 3-warrior lineup that we're seeing from Cresplosion is he's actually being pretty aggressive in terms of scouting. You can actually peel your Muradin off to go look around and see where the opposing team is. The moment he scouted out that the Hellbats were being grabbed in the bottom left, Tricked Esport, his team just grabbed both of their camps, and now they might have a chance here to actually invade on the top left mercenary camp. And all that comes down to having an extra warrior, which means you can do extra scouting, because that member might not be taken out.
Yeah, who was our Muradin that just jumped into a camp on Towers of Doom last week?
Oh my gosh, why is my brain melting here? But I remember it, yeah. Was it Dave?
It might have been, but great fun to watch all the same. That kind of showcases the power of Muradin. Yeah. The fact that he can do those things and get away with those things because he's an imposing force that you have to deal with. But for now, Tricked Esport looking to still put on some pressure, dealing with that hard camp really quick and fast, which is good because of how much damage they sustained to their wall. And they also got good damage done to the wall as well. So I think playing Ducks' hard camp timing was a little bit off considering how much they gave up for it at the front.
Yeah, and the playing Ducks took advantage of it, and they actually went to the very top and just put their Arcanus and their Sport Billy on this fort, putting pressure on Dahaka. Alex Proji falls victim, and now with that amateur opponent here from Nande, he is able to just burn down this fort, less than a quarter health already. And that means if they win a team fight, they have a fort to take down, and they also have a beacon phase that the playing Ducks can run with.
That damn Seeker missile on towards ETC, but he'll clean up that hard camp in a moment for himself. So I like this hard camp timing more. I mean, as much, admittedly, they have, sustained some damage themselves on this fort at the top. They need some to alleviate some of that pressure at the top because it's about to die. But at least now this causes extra problems for playing Ducks in terms of rivaling these beacons and also cleaning up a hard camp.
So pressure on the top will be dealt with by the playing Ducks, as we were mentioning. They're going to grab their Hellbats here, but now we're having some aggression here from Tricked Esports. Eternal scouting out his opponents in the bottom right. Dahaka takes that opportunity to go down the bottom lane. Regular Chris here will go in for the engage, get some damage on Alex Proji.
Yep, just picking that up and get it pushing. Well, this is a big push, actually. We need more commitment to this hard camp, because it's actually doing quite a bit now.
Yeah, this is where...
okay, they're going to trade.
This is where playing Ducks kind of hurts. Their main wave clear is in a Blade Dash with Arcanus there and maybe some grenades here and there, but the Vola with the multi-shot is probably the most important. Tricked Esport, though, goes for a hard engage back behind the fort, and they're able to get an Arcanus while playing Ducks gets a fort in exchange.
Now this is where it gets scary because at level 10s, if Tricked Esport pushes themselves to 10, they can actually just go straight down to that beacon if they want to. I wonder if he's going to go stage dive. Yes, he goes stage dive. I love it. Oh, okay, so now this gives Tricked Esport even more control over beacons potentially with the Hacker and ETC being able to reinforce at any location that they want. So playing Ducks has to be very, very careful about this.
Gotta commend Tricked Esport, though, and that entire last couple of minutes from them was played so well. They lost the fort, but they got to pick on our chance. They got their own fort. The engage does break out here as Chris will use the Rain of Vengeance. Eternal power slides out.
Nande almost hit the Jaina Crosby there on the left-hand side with a big swap, so that would have been lights out for Jaina if she was to have been hit, and that's going to be the easy camp towards top being taken. Eternal and Crosby there at the front now, with Alex the Pro G coming in to reinforce.
They have both beacons, and all they want to do is hold here. They actually don't want to fight and secure a win. Alex the Pro G adaptation does charge in. Could get some damage here. Arcanus is connected, though, with the Ring of Frost. There will be the tongue. Here comes the cleanse from Malfurion. Cresplosion looking for more, has yet to use the Stormbolt to land on anyone. Crosby, though, getting low on mana, which means the playing Ducks should be able to hold this, but they don't have as much rotation power as Dahaka and ETC with stage dive, so they really can't do too much that maybe push this top lane, get their opponent to back up, maybe get a kill, and then go grab the beacon.
And you saw Crosby actually rotating all the way to the top there so he could get one of the globes, just a little bit extra mana here or there, because he knows that this fight is going to continue on for a little bit. And that, even just getting that globe alone for Jaina is kind of a risky thing, but not if your front line is in coordination with one another and holding the rest of the members down there. So not too bad, but they lose themselves that fort. It was very low anyway, to be expected.
Demolition's Expert quest has been completed. And just some builds in general. Arcanus is actually going damage build, which I love. Follow through gives you that extra damage. You can also burn a boss quickly here.
Yeah, very uncommon to see follow through come in the European scene when we get to see Arcanus. So nice to see, considering that they have such a strong front line.
Dahaka, though, does get grabbed here. Zarya burning him down. Vola going for the engage here. Will be kiting forward.
What? Just walked onto it. All right, well, yeah, Playing Ducks going to have to back off from that situation and try and jostle for position on these shrines. It's a little bit difficult. Eternal almost being locked down there. Dahaka's just down at the bottom pushing.
Yeah, this is what Alex Apoji's been doing the entire time. It's just for his team getting experience and holding that beacon in the bottom left. And Playing Ducks, now that they have that triple warrior who has limited mobility besides Muradin, they just can't really ever rotate and grab it.
The rise of Dahaka, like towards the end of the year, last year with BlizzCon, was just so good to see because it made you realize that teams are understanding the power of global so much more. Yeah, there was Falstad and Brightwing before, but when Dahaka came in, not only the power to be able to, soak at other locations, but also flank in such a powerful way to then get that drag in. So I love Dahaka, man. Number two, Ragnaros still number 1.
It's a good number 2, man.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. He just brings so much power to the battlefield and so much threat. We do have a play here from Playing Ducks. They are rotating to the left here. Dahaka actually just maneuvered over here. Can they pick the Alex Apoji? There goes the engage. Bringer Frost does pop off. Zarya low on HP. Chris Explosion in the front line trying to peel on Tychus. Tychus, so trading some damage. There is the Stormbolt. Alex Apoji starts to escape. And once again, we have this weird back and forth where there's so much sustain that there's no major kills. But the Playing Ducks do grab map control, and they're able to peel off one of their teammates and grab the beacon.
Yeah, very nicely done there by Playing Ducks, considering that through the middle of the map, it's actually unusual to actually find yourself pressure, but they caught Dahaka well, forced him to pop that adaptation, and forced an entire response from Tricked Esport.
Oh, a swap here.
Oh, nah, he'll be okay, I think.
Well, Brushshock just came out, so the team has to rotate down, and they do. There goes the grab from Alex Apoji. Chris Explosion doesn't have Dwarf Toss and will fall victim to Tricked Esport. They now can grab the bottom beacon. They may need to send one to the top lane here. No stage dive or Brushshock available, so they'll have to do it manually. But unfortunately, it's too late. Playing Ducks get the phase.
Yeah, so the sacrifice of a Muradin for getting yourself 50% more, I think it's not too bad for Playing Ducks. No. I think that they can assert some pressure here. They've got Jaina of Tricked Esport and Tychus to try and start cleaning this up. Dahaka's actually very good at cleaning this up too in terms of the AoE damage. Not necessarily the bonus damage, because that just kind of doesn't exist on these guys, but they should get a wall, right? And then they should have 13 at around the same time. So I think it's okay.
Yeah, it certainly is. I completely agree with you here. Muradin's on the way.
Oh.
This is the moment for Tricked Esport to make a play, though. They go for the stage dive. They jump on Malfurion. Wolf Joe low. Sport Billy 2. And that is 2 pickoffs here. Eternal making a great engage there with a stage dive on his ETC.
All right, let's talk knock-on effects, because when you lose your Muradin and then you go that far forwards against a stage dive, that's what can possibly happen. Tricked Esport established and exploited the weakness of not having the Muradin there from the previous kill so well. That was the perfect window for them. Really good stuff from Tricked Esport.
And they continue to open the window, making it become a breeze into a huge gust here as they're diving on Chris. Explosion, power slide in, low on HP. He will be able to dive away, but the Playing Ducks now on the back foot and need to wait for their Vala. No matter what, if they don't have Vala or their Malfurion in setup, for the most part, they should not be engaging. That's a sustain for them. They have Tranquility flailing around, and also Vala is their main damage dealer. So they have to wait it out and never engage.
If they've lost any more from that point on, that breeze could have become a hurricane. That would have been
so true.
That would have been bad, unfortunately, for Playing Ducks. But they've kind of established some sense of normality even. And now T-Sport back off for the moment. Don't need to take that fight just yet themselves. 13 versus 13. There's a lot of power behind Playing Ducks, and Eternal gets caught. No, does not get hit by that Stormbolt, but now he's in no man's land.
Power slides to his team. They do move in and help him out. There's a swap, though, when it hits Rimmer. Rimmer does get here. The Rain of Vengeance does not connect. Neither does the Ring of Frost, though. Ancestral healing, though, helping Rimmer stay alive. And Chris Explosion, low on health, is burned down here. And that is another Muradin being taken away from the fight.
The aggressive Jainas of old. Did you see how much damage Crosby got out through that fight on towards Muradin? And obviously being slowed down during all of that does not help you as a poor, poor dwarf. But now, Tricked Esport can just back off themselves. They've got themselves a good experience advantage. I think they might want to tussle over this hard camp. The ETC still down towards the bottom. What is ETC doing? Oh, I guess he got just a globe at the moment.
It's interesting to me how both Rimmer and Crosby look super comfortable against this triple warrior composition. They're never in a spot where I feel like they're panicking to escape. The Ancestral Healing from Rhaegar was probably the most panic moment there's ever been here for Tricked Esport with their Tychus. I need more backline pressure from either Muradin here or from Artanis to get in that backline, at least get on top of Jaina. Because Jaina, while you mentioned she did a massive amount of damage in that last fight, she still missed a Ring of Frost, and yet Tricked Esport still won the fight.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing I was a little bit worried about in the draft. In my mind, the fact that we've seen the Muradin be aggressive in towards the back, and unless they get a swap, they don't really have that kill potential, you know?
And even when they do get the swap, the Rain of Vengeance was cleansed, and it was also close to missing as well. So really, Tychus does have enough health here to sustain through these swaps if he has the support of his team, and he has had it every single time.
Yeah, so now 16 is going to be rapidly approaching for Tricked Esport, and I think they're going to have a lot of power behind their team fight if it's to come to blows. So what we're going to have to see here from playing Ducks is a lot of rotation from beacon to beacon very, very soon. Unless they can actually get themselves a little bit propelled forwards. But it's very difficult on this map to find any more advantage, because it's only a 2-lane map, and against a globals like Dahaka, like even ETC with Stage Dive, they have a hard time catching up in that experience. There's only so much across a 2-lane map.
I think they really missed their opportunity with the kill that we had on the second phase of the beacon that they grabbed. If they had gotten a keep there, things would be so much easier for playing Ducks right now in rotation. They are just fighting so far behind right now in terms of map control because of these globals. Alex Proji landing another drag. Does not fully connect. He will burrow instantly down to the bottom lane though, as the beacon is being grabbed already for the playing Ducks. And now they're kind of sitting here floating in no man's land trying to jump on Eternal.
Yeah.
Eternal with the cleanse though will be saved. Power slides away. And Dahaka is set up. There is a massive concave available for Tricked Esports if they want to get into an engage here.
Tricked Esport, forced playing Ducks to use their cleanse on towards the Muradin just before when they tried to blow him up. But now,
no cleanse. There's the Ancestral. He's saved. Nande goes in. Okay, he's able to survive, but did take a lot of resources there.
Yeah,
and to keep him alive.
A great little drag on toward Chris Explosion. We're going to have Remobola even popping the Odin as well to try and get in on this fight. They're almost level 16, but they're just going to take the fight anyway. There's going to be the Ring of Frost. Actually misses Nande. He tries to dash away from all of that, but he's in a lot of trouble. He swaps Alex the Pro G to get himself to safety. Chris Explosion, though, does he have a jump? No, he does not. He will fall. That's 16 going over towards Tricked Esport.
There it is. So now, the stage side, they're not done yet. Eternal going in, looking for a gauge, will connect with Wolf Joe on the power slide, and now the beacon phase has been delayed long enough here. Playing Ducks has 92% in the bank. They're definitely going to wait it out, but the boss grab is a wise grab here for Tricked Esport. They are at 16 now. They get pressure on the lane. The boss will go down, and then they can grab beacons.
Actually, Napa doesn't have that much health, and Infernal was being blocked by Rema there for a moment, but they rotate Alex the Pro G in. He will be able to kill this off. They were quite low. But of course that's fine. Yeah, it's good though. It's good that they get this. It can be all too easy as Tricked Esport to say, oh god, they're at 92%, quick, get the beacons, get the beacons. But they should have this anyway. All right, Guardian.
He's doing the boogie there.
Doing the Guardian dance.
He's ready to push out and fight.
Yeah.
So 16 to 15, playing Ducks main priority here. Clear boss gets 16. I wouldn't mind them actually trading here on beacons because they'll have 100% against 92%, which isn't too much to deal with. They'll be able to clear that relatively well. In fact, I wouldn't mind them going for a base race here and actually pushing with their beacon phase because they actually have a really hard time clearing because of Vala's wave clear being the main thing here and Artan's blade dash and the grenades, but that's about it compared to Tricked Esport who has Jaina, who can clear really well. So if you force them to be on the back foot, maybe then you go back and defend. Regardless, playing Ducks will defend here. They're set up here on the right side.
Guardians, they might be the slowest unit in this force that they have available, but they're excited to get out of the pen. They're excited for their freedom as the Banelings are going to roll on in and do quite a bit of damage. It's all about the Ultralisks and the Guardians, though, with the Hydralisks backing them up to do the big damages. Now this keep is under pressure. Are they going to be able to save it? Doesn't look like it. Using the suppression pulse there from Nande to try and stop some of the damage coming on in. An attempt to slide on towards Infernal there, but Artanis is very low. That's going to be a great Ring of Frost. Here comes the stage dive as well. Nandi very low, and he will end up getting killed off. That's 1 for 0 at the moment for Tricked Esport.
And remember, turns around looking for more, burning down Crystplosion. There he is. He will jump away, but yes, no Artanis here, and Guardian still aided the push. There will be a keep taken. Now, we did lose a keep in the bottom left, though, as the push from the Playing Ducks was actually abandoned as Dahaka came in for the fight. So a keep for keep here, and actually a little more damage on the core as the Hydras and the Guardians will get here. Granted, the armor will tank that up. But that's what I was talking about with the wave clear here. Artanis has decent wave clear because of amateur opponent, but if he ever gets too far forward, suddenly he gets eliminated like we just saw, which is such a hard thing to deal with, especially against an ETC.
I loved when this map first came out and my friend was like, what are those flying crab things? I'm like, I don't know. Because just didn't play StarCraft before, but anyway. Crystplosion here on the left-hand side. Seeing quite a bit of damage. It was Sport Billy that was the focal point, though, over on the right there, as ETC done something about that. And an attempt at a swap, slightly missing there on Nappy and Eternal. So not to be. He only has the single swap, though, right? He didn't talent into the double swap.
Yeah, there's no Graviton Vortex here. It's Triple Strike into, I believe that is Titan Killer. Yes, so Titan Killer, Triple Strike, just good for burning down tanks. ETC and Dahaka in particular. Really just, you hit W, you hit them, and then you kite back. That's all you got to do with that build, and it is quite powerful. Also, with the Triple Strike, you get that amateur opponent just burning down a core. So if you ever need to do a core rush, suddenly you have that available to you with Artanis. Now, Playing Ducks are being on the offensive here, and I like it. You just need to contain these globals in some manner. So being aggressive works out for them. What's funny is that there's actually Zerg still left for the team, so there's no mercenaries up yet, which means that Tricked Esport doesn't have to move out. The massive B, though, from Playing Ducks, they're going to have to deal with the catapults here on the top right.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, where is the Zerg? Oh, is it gone now?
It just got cleared. It just got cleared. There was
literally.
There was like one Hydra floating around on the map, which prevented the mercenaries from spawning. Now, when they spawn, we go through the normal tradition of grabbing whatever mercenaries you can to get pressure on the map. Tricked Esport, though, will hold off on their grab.
Yeah, don't want to show it just yet. Very close game. This is kind of what I expected coming into this series. I think that these two teams are pretty well evenly matched. As Tricked Esport currently in the driving seat, of course, as they try and propel themselves towards level 20. But there's not much soaking going on just yet for either team. They're just... Look at this. Nobody... This is a true game of chicken. Who's going to capture first? Because they just want to clean it up and then allow theirs to push afterwards.
And the thing is, Playing Duck has to make the play because they're behind 19-17, and Dahaka is just soaking to 20 and the bottom lane and ready to move in at any point. Playing Ducks is making a play, though, and this is a bold play.
Yeah.
As they start burning down the boss with the amateur opponent and Sport Billy here with the explosion zone, they could make a play. There goes Dahaka with the engage. They turn around and instantly will grab him here. Alex Aproji starts looking at the boss putting decent damage on Tricked Esport. This is a very tough moment for both our teams.
Was expulsion zone. It actually goes down. They're trying to keep Chris on there, but they push it off. Oh my god, he's still on
the Ancestral. Oh, there's the stage dive. They're going in. Crystplosion, though, in trouble. Can he move on? Sport's Billy looking for it. He gets slowed, though, at the last second there, and the boss goes to Tricked Esport here. And you know what? I can't even fault that play as the Playing Ducks are trying to set themselves up for success. It does not work out. A grenade to snipe the Muradin for the last second. Only Chris and Wolf Joe here for defense.
A shame there, though, for Playing Ducks. There was great plays on each side.
Oh, the core, though,
is it dying?
It's taking catapults. There's two here. Now, Alex Pudgy does go back to clear it up, but for
this should be a victory now for Tricked Esport. They've gone towards core, but that was close. We need to watch that again at some point because that was a crazy little engagement. Both sides had such good disengage potential. They're trying to race. But that will be the game going over to Tricked Esport 2-0 currently in this first best of 3.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Playing Ducks loses that boss, but you can understand what was happening. You see the wheels turning. They understand they have to make a play. They're getting globaled out. They're behind 2 levels. If we get a boss here, we might get a kill or 2, and we get a comeback and a win condition if we take more than 2 people out, right? It all makes sense. It's a high-risk, high-reward play, but I like the call. I actually do.
We can actually take a look again at that boss fight because that was absolutely the play that we see here. So I was hoping that maybe Eternal and Alex Aprochi would stay at the front and the other 3 would clean up the boss, but they wanted to play it cautious. They didn't want to get burned down themselves. So Expulsion Zone's gone down. Chris gets pushed off by Eternal and the rest of the gang. As you can see, Napa and Alex just trying to sit on it, but so much potential to try and stop either team from getting on there.
Dude, calling out Nape here, because he threw down the Earthbind Totem, which
Yes.
actually slowed down both Artanis and Zarya, because they were inches away from getting in there, but they were slowed down just enough to where Nape was able to prevent them from grabbing it, and they grabbed the boss instead. You got to watch out for that Earthbind Totem, man. It is a chore to deal with, and it earned a boss here for Tricked Esports.
Earthgrasp level 16, good talent.
That's right. We'll be right back with game number 3, playing Ducks taking on Tricked Esport, Tricked Up 2-0.
Sulfuras Smash is Ragnaros' first heroic ability. Ragnaros throws Sulfuras into the air, and after a short time later, it slams into the ground, dealing damage to all enemies in the target area. Enemies in the center of the area suffer triple the damage and are stunned afterward. Ragnaros' second heroic ability, Lava Wave, can take a little longer to reach your enemies, but is capable of dealing incredible amounts of damage.
We might be live then.
When activated, a giant wave
I
of
love
lava starts at
Ragnaros.
your
He's my
core
best friend.
and travels down the entire targeted lane, instantly killing all enemy minions and heavily damaging enemy heroes. Ragnaros excels at defending forts and keeps since he can take them over with Molten Core. Use this to your advantage, stalling your opponents and buying time for your allies to regroup after a potential lost objective. While Molten Core is active, all damage that would have been dealt to a fort is instead dealt to Ragnaros. When facing an enemy Ragnaros in Molten Core, focus your attacks on him to quickly return him to normal. If Molten Core